I should have trusted the first warning sign. The way my sister's laugh suddenly changed whenever my boyfriend spoke. It wasn't her normal laugh. It was breathy, theatrical, overly sweet. The kind of laugh a woman uses when she wants someone to notice her. But I told myself I was imagining it. I told myself she was excited about her wedding. I told myself she wasn't flirting with the man I loved. I was wrong about everything. At first, it was small things. She'd stand just a little too close to him when we were together, lean in when she didn't need to, touch his arm when she laughed. Every gesture seemed harmless on its own, but together they formed an uncomfortable pattern. I noticed her eyes following him when he wasn't looking, lingering longer than they should. My stomach tightened every time I caught her staring. When I finally confronted my boyfriend about it one night after a family dinner, he just shrugged and told me I was overthinking. He said she was probably just excited because her wedding was close. He dismissed every concern I had with a gentle smile and a quick kiss on my forehead. But my instincts screamed that something was wrong, so I stayed quiet. I watched, I paid attention, and things only got worse. At a barbecue, I came back from the bathroom and saw them talking alone in the corner of the yard, standing so close their shadows nearly overlapped. She giggled at something he said, her head tilted, her hair flipping in a way she reserved for men she wanted to impress. The second they saw me, they jumped apart. My heart sank, but I stayed silent. I didn't want to be the crazy, jealous sister, not so close to her wedding. That night, I asked him again what they were talking about, and again, he brushed it off. Just wedding stuff. He said I was being irrational. He said Sarah wasn't flirting. He said there was nothing to worry about, and then he got annoyed because I wouldn't drop it. I felt alone and insane. I began doubting my own perception, but I couldn't stop watching her. Every event, every gathering, every shared family moment, she was glued to his side. If I sat next to him, she found a reason to switch seats. If he got up to get a drink, she followed him to ask something quick. If he told a mediocre joke, she laughed like he was a stand up comedian. I tried to confront her, hoping maybe she'd deny it and I'd feel foolish. But the moment I brought it up over coffee, her entire expression hardened. She called me insecure. She told me I was imagining things. She laughed at me. And when she stormed out of the cafe, I sat there shaking, questioning everything I thought I knew. And then my parents found out. They yelled at me, insisting I was trying to ruin her wedding. They told me to apologize to her. They accused me of being jealous of her happiness. No one believed me. Not my boyfriend, not my sister, not my own mother. I'd never felt more alone. One week before the wedding, I went to my parents' house to talk things out, hoping some clarity would come from it. As I walked toward the house, voices carried through the air from the garden. Soft whispers, my sister's giggle, my boyfriend's low laugh. Something inside me froze. I walked quietly toward the sound, unsure whether I wanted answers or just peace. But nothing could have prepared me for what I saw next. Behind a tall plant near the garden wall, my sister and my boyfriend were tangled together, kissing deeply, her legs wrapped around his waist, his hand under her shirt, both of them so lost in each other they didn't even notice me. For a second, the world went silent. My heart stopped. My brain refused to process what my eyes were seeing. And then the pain hit me all at once. Sharp, violent, suffocating. My scream tore through the air before I even realized I was screaming. They both whipped around, their faces draining of color instantly. My boyfriend stumbled back, his shirt wrinkled, his mouth swollen. Sarah's lipstick was smeared across her face. Their guilt was written all over their bodies. "What the hell is this?" I shouted, my voice shaking. My sister's eyes filled with tears. My boyfriend opened his mouth, stammering, "It's not what it looks like." But it was exactly what it looked like. "How could you?" I choked out. "Both of you. How could you do this to me?" All the gaslighting, all the denials, all the manipulation. It all made sense now. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't insecure. I was right. And they were exactly who I feared they were. I didn't wait for their excuses. I didn't wait to hear their lies. I ran to my car and drove away while they shouted my name behind me. I drove until my tears blurred the road and my hands shook on the wheel. When I got home, I told my boyfriend it was over through one final text. Then I turned off my phone and disappeared from everyone. For 2 days, I barely moved from my hotel room. I kept replaying the scene in the garden like a nightmare stuck on repeat. Their faces, their hands, their bodies pressed together. The betrayal hit me in violent waves that made it hard to breathe. I cried. I screamed into pillows. I paced the room until my legs hurt. And every time my phone buzzed with their names on the screen, I turned it over and let it ring. But there was one person who didn't deserve to be left in the dark. My sister's fiancé, Mark. I knew telling him would blow up everything. I knew it would destroy a wedding less than a week away. I knew it would devastate him. But I also knew that he deserved better than a wife who would cheat on him with her own sister's boyfriend. It took everything in me to dial his number. When he answered, his voice carried confusion and worry. "Hey, is everything okay? Sarah said you disappeared. Everyone's worried." I swallowed hard. "Mark, I need to tell you something, and I'm so sorry." I told him everything, the months of flirting, the strange behavior, the gaslighting, the way my family turned on me. And finally, the moment I saw them kissing, wrapped around each other like teenagers sneaking around behind the school gym. He didn't interrupt once. He didn't breathe loudly or curse or deny. He just listened. When I finished, there was a long, hollow silence. Then he exhaled shakily and said, "Thank you for telling me. I need to think." And the call ended. For days, I heard nothing. Not from him. Not from my sister. Not from my parents. The silence scared me. A twisted part of me wondered whether Mark had forgiven her, whether he was still going through with the wedding, whether I had opened my heart for nothing. 3 days before the wedding, my phone finally lit up with Sarah's name. I didn't answer. She called again. Then my mother called. Then my father. Then a barrage of messages came through so fast that my phone vibrated nonstop. I had to turn it off again. The night before the wedding, I stared at the ceiling of my dark hotel room, thinking about everything I'd lost. My relationship, my trust, my sister, my parents, even the belief that family protected you. I wondered if Mark had gone through with it. I wondered if he had buried the truth just to save face. The thought made my stomach churn. I didn't sleep at all. The next afternoon, I was sitting in silence when my cousin Emma's name flashed across the screen. I answered immediately. Her voice was breathless. "Oh my God, you won't believe what happened." My heart jumped. "What? What happened? Did she get married?" Emma let out a shaky laugh. "No, she didn't. Because Mark called off the wedding at the altar." My entire body went still. Emma continued, words tumbling out of her in shocked excitement. "He waited until the vows. Everyone stood up. Sarah was smiling like nothing ever happened. And then Mark stepped forward and said he had something to say." I could practically hear the room go silent through Emma's voice. "He told everyone he couldn't marry a woman who betrayed her own sister. He said he found out she had been cheating with your boyfriend. He said he wouldn't build a marriage on lies." I covered my mouth as tears slid down my face. Relief, heartbreak, vindication all crashing into each other. Emma kept going, whispering like she was reliving the chaos. "Your sister went completely pale. She started crying, begging him not to leave. People were whispering everywhere. Then Mark turned to your parents and told them they needed to know the truth about why you disappeared." My hands shook. Emma lowered her voice. "Rebecca, he exposed everything, all of it, in front of everyone." I sat frozen as she described Sarah collapsing into sobs, my mother trying to defend her, my father yelling at Mark, the guests staring in disbelief. The perfectly planned wedding, the one my family had obsessed over for years, was falling apart in real time. And I wasn't even there. By the time Emma finished, I didn't know what to say. I wasn't happy. I wasn't triumphant. I was simply numb. I never wanted revenge. I just wanted to be believed. After the call ended, I sat alone in my hotel room with my thoughts swirling around me. My sister's life was in ruins. My parents were drowning in shock. My ex-boyfriend had vanished, and Mark had walked away with his dignity intact. Everything had exploded, and now I had to decide what to do next. For the rest of that night, I sat alone in the quiet hotel room, staring at the city lights outside my window. The world felt too still, too calm for the kind of chaos that had just unfolded. My sister's wedding, a lifelong dream, a carefully curated fantasy, had crumbled in front of an entire church full of people, and all because of a truth no one wanted to believe until it punched them in the face. By morning, the silence shattered. My phone buzzed violently, call after call, message after message. My mother, my father, my sister, even extended relatives. I didn't answer any of them, not because I was trying to be dramatic, but because I simply didn't have the strength. Around 10 a.m., someone knocked on my hotel door. I froze. The knocks grew louder, then a voice. My mom's, shaky, emotional, desperate. Please, please open the door. We just want to talk. For a moment, I considered staying silent, but running forever wasn't the solution, so I opened the door just enough to see their faces. My mother looked like she'd aged 10 years overnight. Her mascara was smudged, her hair messy. My father stood stiffly behind her, his jaw tight, his eyes cold. And behind them, broken, mascara-streaked, trembling, was my sister. The three people who had made me feel crazy, dramatic, insecure, now stood there looking destroyed. My sister stepped forward first, her voice cracking. Please, can we talk? She tried to reach for my hand, but I stepped back. We sat inside the room, but I stayed near the door. I couldn't bring myself to sit next to them. My mother was the first to speak. She cleared her throat, but her voice wavered. Why didn't you tell us sooner? Why didn't you? I cut her off. I did tell you, all of you. None of you listened. A heavy silence filled the room. My sister broke down completely, sobbing uncontrollably. She kept whispering the same thing over and over like a mantra. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I don't know why I did it. I ruined everything. I wanted to feel satisfaction. I wanted to feel justice. But instead, all I felt was exhaustion. Betrayal had drained me so deeply that there was no room for revenge, anger, or even pity. You didn't just cheat on your fiancé, I said quietly. You cheated with my boyfriend. You lied to me. You made me doubt myself. You let everyone think I was jealous and insecure. Do you have any idea what that did to me? She covered her face with her hands and sobbed harder. My father finally spoke, his voice low. We made mistakes. We didn't handle things right. We should have listened. He wasn't good at apologies, but even this broken admission was something I never thought I'd hear him say. I took a deep breath. I didn't want any of this. I didn't want her wedding ruined. I didn't want Mark destroyed. I didn't want to end my relationship. I didn't want to tear the family apart. I just wanted the truth. That's all. My mother nodded slowly, tears filling her eyes. We know that now. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. But for the first time, they weren't dismissing me. They weren't calling me dramatic. They weren't telling me I imagined everything. They were finally seeing me, not as the jealous older sister, not as the problem, not as the villain in Sarah's story, but as the daughter who had been hurt beyond repair. My sister asked the question she was terrified of. Can we fix this? Can we ever go back to normal? I shook my head. Normal died in that garden. Her face crumpled again, but I didn't soften. Some wounds stopped bleeding, but they don't close. We talked a little longer about betrayal, about trust, about consequences, but eventually they left. They needed to tend to the disaster waiting for them back home. Wedding guests demanding answers, reputation shattered, vendors needing cancellation, Mark refusing to speak to anyone. For the first time in my life, the chaos wasn't mine to carry. I stayed in my hotel room for 2 more days, letting myself breathe. I realized something important in that silence. The truth didn't destroy my family. Lies did. Silence did. Gaslighting did. Their refusal to believe me did. Their instinct to protect an illusion did. All I did was stop lying to myself. Eventually, I packed my things and went home, not to reconcile, but to start over. I deleted every photo of me and Tom. I blocked him everywhere. I blocked my sister for now, not out of hatred, but because healing requires distance. I didn't owe anyone instant forgiveness. My parents have been calling, trying to repair what's left. Maybe one day that bridge will hold again. Maybe it won't. I'm not rushing it. As for me, I'm rebuilding slowly. I'm choosing peace over drama, boundaries over guilt, self respect over forced loyalty, and the lesson that will stay with me forever. If your gut whispers that something is wrong, listen, even if everyone calls you crazy. Especially then. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that button. More shocking true stories are on the way.